I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Breitling for Bentley GT3 DLC Black and Titanium 49mm, a 1 of 500 limited edition. You can see this production-based racer tribute and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images, and naturally complete pricing information for this Breitling for Bentley GT3 limited edition of 500. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch truly is big like a Bentley. The watch lives up to the billing of its inspiration and very much a piece of Breitling heritage as well. This particular 49mm case originated in the late 1960s when it was used for the so-called big Navitimer references. Today, this historical inheritance lives on in the form of the Breitling for Bentley GT3. Now, 49mm is across the round of the case, not including the crown or the chronograph pushers. In terms of thickness, it's actually not bad considering the sheer size of the watch. 15mm, but you'll note a little bit of a slope to the bezel does allow it to fit underneath perhaps a blazer or a sport jacket cuff. Now the watch is large but not overwhelming from lug to lug. 55mm is about par for a timepiece of 49mm in circumference across the broad of the case. This could have been much larger. For example, the 46mm IWC Big Pilot has a 57mm lug-to-lug span. So even though my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, by keeping the size large but manageable at 55 lug-to-lug, Breitling makes this watch, in my opinion, viable on a wrist as small as 14.5 centimeters in circumference. And being made of DLC blackened titanium, it wears light on the wrist. Now it comes with a beautiful custom rubber strap. You'll note it does have the GT3 insignia molded in. Continental GT3, the namesake racer of the watch. Beautiful cross-hatching pattern on the underside. Again, more Breitling for Bentley signage. So this is a custom strap, not just for the Breitling for Bentley line, but for this very model. It's paired with a beautiful single fold deployant that does have twin trigger security. So when closed, you must depress both of these buttons on each side to open the clasp. It's not friction fit, it can accidentally pop open, and it does feel of higher grade than a simple clamshell. Now what it also features is a clever, let me see if I can get it in the light, a clever push button slider system. You push the button and then you have the ability to adjust over a little more than a centimeter of micrometric sizing. Now the watch itself pays tribute to the Breitling for Bentley partnership, current since 2002. In the early 2000s, Bentley went for an overall win at Le Mans with the EXP8, a high-performance coupe that owed more than a small debt of gratitude to sister firm within the Volkswagen Group, Audi. Now, the Speed 8 was little more than an Audi R8 with a roof, but in the early 2010s, Bentley decided that it wanted to go production-based racing and race something that was more recognizably related to their road cars. And, of course, the Breitling for Bentley partnership went along for the ride. Now, the GT3 Continental is a FIA-certified race version of the Continental GT that we know well from countless magazine covers. And the watch itself is actually a variation on the Breitling for Bentley Super Sports. Same case, same material, but blackened with an entirely different dial. Now, the GT3 has, in its factory-backed guise, a livery featuring extensive signal green highlights. Now I'm going to wind the watch up a little bit and show to good effect some of the distinguishing features of the caliber 27 chronograph in this watch. Now the first thing you'll notice is that there are two radial hands at center. One is radial seconds for the chronograph, the other is radial minutes, the better to easily read the minutes elapsed off the dial. Now there is a mono counter at 9 o'clock that counts both minutes and hours, so there's a lot of unconventional chronograph architecture here. There's a date at 6 o'clock that does feature a quick set function, and the caliber itself is based on the thin and fine automatic winding ETA 2892A2 with a chronograph module on top. So you have 42 hours of power reserve and smooth bidirectional winding. It's also a very tough caliber. Screw the crown down and you have 100 meters of water resistance. So while the watch is inspired by land-based motorsports, nevertheless this 1 of 500 limited edition is perfectly suitable for shallow snorkeling, diving off the high board, and swimming. It's very much a surf and turf sports watch. Now you can see the watch does feature the differential geared deluxe circular slide rule that Breitling fits to these larger Navitimer style watches, but the calibrations and the units are uniquely suited to motorsports. The best way to describe it is that relative to the aviation slide rules, this one works backwards, and sometimes I'll have to do a demo to show exactly how it works. Rest assured, you can still do the same multiplication and division equations. You can still use the watch to calculate your tip in a restaurant. The aesthetic is different than the Super Sports, mostly because the blackened case, the green highlights, and the use of a carbon fiber dial set this model apart distinctly. Just like the actual Continental GT3 racer, it's a cut above the conventional GT3, or rather I should say Continental GT and Continental GT Super Sports. You can see and you can purchase this Breitling for Bentley hot rod on our website.